Please be advised that this podcast is meant for educational and informational purposes only and is in no way a replacement for legal or medical advice. The opinions contained within are solely those of the interviewers and interviewees and should be received as so. Those seeking help or advice are encouraged to obtain professional legal and medical services.
Check, 1 2 1 2.
Live across the universe.
Check it out.
Ladies and gentlemen,
It's about that time, y'all.
you are now in the mix. 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
You already know what it is. Live, raw, and unapologetic. Welcome to the K.L.P Aftermath Podcast. Where the stories hit harder, the culture gets louder, and the aftermath, always legendary. It's more than a podcast, it's the takeover. Turn it up and lock in, because K.L.P is in the building.
Go! What's going on in Hot Atlanta? Live from Swanky 93.3 and the Heat 94.6 brings back the hottest hip-hop radio show live from K.L.P Entertainment and K.L.P Studios. It's K.L.P Aftermath. Morning with your host, K.L.P Kennedy Lucas.
You know what it is? Put your hands up.
Tune in now on any audio platform.
Go.
Yes, ladies and gentlemen. Boy, howdy. Yeah, buddy. Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, welcome back to another exciting podcast here today. You guys know what time it is. It is K.L.P Aftermath Podcast time, presented by our Heart Media. Now, ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the podcast. We hope that everyone is having a glorious, and I do mean this, a glorious Tuesday. It's been a great day so far, ladies and gentlemen. I was able to go to the gym as per usual. Got some new toys that was brought up to the studio. Y'all see it on the K.L.P Photography's Instagram later on. Well, it's probably going to be posted by the time you see this episode, but got some new things in here. And of course, we're here in the studio to give you guys yet another exciting podcast. Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls of the jury, thank you guys so much for staying tuned for every content that we've been doing, right? If you guys know, you know, yesterday I was on Wake Up ATL with Blondie and Sarah yesterday. A lot of people have been watching it. Thank y'all for that, Blondie and Sarah. They're here in the office, you know, working on their next episode. So it's always good. It's always good to be a part of something very, very special other than my own. And that's kind of like the direction that I'm going to, T and audience, that, you know, K.L.P Entertainment, we are changing how the way we're doing our social media. When it comes down to it, you know, I think I'm going to not quit Bro Code Podcast. That's not what I'm saying. I'm going to leave that to the fellas. As you guys know, I sort of talked about this in the last episode we did with K.L.P Aftermath. Sometimes you can feel a little burnt out when it comes down to podcasting and doing content creation. You can get burned out. You can. And it's one of those things where, hold on, let me get my chair right. There we go. I'm looking at the screen. I'm like, hey, I ain't centered. But you get a little burnt out when you're trying to create some content and try to do the things that you normally do when it comes down to podcasting. It's not to say that I'm over podcasting, because that's so not the reason. It's just I'm on a lot of shows, right? You've got this show, you got Wake Up, you got Bro Code, you got What Happened Was with me and Evelyn. So I am going to limit myself on appearance for a couple of shows. I think I'm going to stick with K.L.P Aftermath and What Happened Was podcast. And then on the occasion, I do Wake Up with Blondie and Sarah. Honestly, I think Blondie and Sarah, they got it. I said it on yesterday's episode. It's their show. I'm not on their show to take over their show. I'm in the control room recording them and putting the show together. And I think I'm starting to find that I like that better, being the producer of these podcasts and leaving my big show, this show, my personal show, to myself, and just let this be my show, right? And I can't say What Happened Was podcast. That's not just my show. It's me and Evelyn's show, right? So I like to give my talent. It's our show. So this is one of the things I'm trying to limit how much camera time that I have and let my talent do their thing, right? They get paid from K.L.P Entertainment Filmworks to come do their thing. So I would rather have them come do their thing and let this thing fly together versus me hopping on every show. because you can get burned out on cameras and trying to get things ready. So like I say, hopefully you guys like that new direction with Wake Up with ATL Broco podcast. We produced an episode with them last night. Great episode. You don't want to miss it. Of course, you had Jackson and Terry T, my producer for this show. Tyler and Marcus are also on the show. We've got some new talent. Mark and Chris is on that show. So it's just, I've got so much talent. I'll just let them do their thing there. So like I say, we hope that everybody's having a fantastic week so far. It's Tuesday. I do say to a lot of people it's getting cooler, which is great. I know a lot of people are getting ready to have their heat on. We had the heat on at my house. Boy, howdy did we have the heat on at my house, which is necessary because certain rooms in my house, they do get rather cold, like freeze cold. And I do say to a lot of people, it's the perfect time to have the heat on because at night, it's getting cooler at night. Summertime, it gets hot, right? Back in summertime. But now we're transitioning from summer to fall. The trees around my house and around the neighborhood is turning more orange, right? We're getting into that season, right? We're getting into that season where the fall time is here. The leaves and trees are turning orange, yellowish, and it gets cooler at night. So now we have the heater on at night because it does get cold in a few rooms. I do say that to a lot of people, have your heat on because it's very, you don't want to be in an icebox when you sleep because you can get sick, right? That's one of the things that I think I've experienced back in January where my bedroom was a little too cold because personally I like it cold when I sleep, but it was iced cold. It was really, really freezing in there. And I ended up getting sick. So I say that to say, yes, have the heat on. I know it gets irritating because I'm I'm cold natured. So I'm hot tempered, cold natured. So my nature is cold and I get when I'm hot and I get aggravated. So I do say that to a lot of people, the heat, it is on. And then when it comes down to it, when you have the heat on, your Georgia Power bill won't be as much, which, there is an election coming up. I won't go solely politics into this show because that's never my intention to go politics into this show. But there is an election coming up for officials to elect on to determine how much we pay in utilities. I say to a lot of people, look into that, get ready to vote on that. I most likely will be voting on that because, I didn't really like the summertime. Again, I'll say this real quick to you, and audience, I won't get so political. I don't really think this is a political thing, honestly. When it came down to the summertime, I paid close to $500 in power bill, which is astronomical for utility. Most necessary need. I think Georgia Power, along with a lot of power companies, they are a monopoly. We need it, right? Without power, you can't function. Of course, we have Georgia Power with our studio. If we didn't have power in our studios, none of this will be programmed on. But I do think that a lot of those companies shouldn't be monopolized and they should have a flat standard rate, my personal opinion. But besides the point, have the heat on because your power bill will go down and is getting closer to that winter time. Now, a little thing about K.L.P Entertainment real quick before we get to the topics of conversation. Of course, I'm very, very excited. Me and Evelyn, we've been talking on our show. My new gospel album is on its way. Of course, January 2026. Very, very happy about that. Not a sponsor for Naked, but I drink Naked juices because they're very good. Very, very. It cleanses my thirst. So Holy Grounds is on its way out January 2026. That is my first ever gospel album. And let me tell you, when I'm not podcasting and I'm not in production and I'm in the office cooking, I'm making beats. I'm making music on my spare time. And I was able to craft up a new concept for a gospel album getting ready to be released January 2026. Let me tell you something about this gospel album real quick. This album is very, very impactful for me. As you guys know, I find my way back to my relationship with God and Jesus Christ. I wear a rosary, 2 rosaries every day. I go out to either to the gym or to the church if I'm going out. And I get very, very stoic with a lot of great things that's coming up in my life. I think a lot of things are happening for the better good of my lifetime. I got to say that. I think I find my way to going to church every Sunday. Again, shout out to Change Church. I go to Change Church every Sunday. I don't miss church. Only if I am ill, that's when I'm missing church. But if I am in my best energy, best self, I'm going to church. So church on Sunday, praying every morning, every night, and every time I have a meal, I find my way. And finally, I was able to craft my first ever gospel album. Of course, it's me. Dravion's in this album. Monica Gray, you guys know her. Monica's the OG. She's on this album. Of course, I've got some new talent that's getting ready to be announced on this album. The Kennedy Lucas Choir. Again, yes, we have a choir. They're cooking up what they're cooking up. It's a lot of great stuff happening with this gospel album. I just truly hope that everybody will enjoy this album when it gets ready to release next year. It's a brand new start for the brand new year, 2026. Like I say, October is moving like it got somewhere to be. Very, very excited for that gospel album as well. And then your boy got a new single that's on its way out with my new artists, Park Sun and Sky Love. Just wait. That's all I'm gonna say, right? Because I'm gonna post on social media with this new single. But my new artist said, "Hey, I think I'm ready to be on Swanky Records and to really make my first song, right?" And then he gave me the concept, and I said, "Okay, let's pull Sky Love into this, right?" And now we were able to craft and create a banger. It's a little party song. It's a little bop. It's a little bop for the season. That's all I'm gonna say, because you gotta follow my social medias when I get ready to announce that new single. Music all around. New documentary, Dear Isaiah, is finished. Can't wait for that. We got a event November 1st. And, of course, you just got to follow my social medias, ladies and gentlemen, because, look, all of it goes on my social media, but we're going to do a private screening and a private panel on November 1st. I can't wait for that as well. A lot of great things are happening with K.L.P Entertainment. A lot of good things. Again, it was the greater grace of God, team, when it comes down to it. Now, I wanted to revisit this review. Now, I talked about it on Wake Up ATL on yesterday's episode, right? Yesterday morning. But now I wanted to get a more in-depth review on the podcast. So here we go.
Bring it down.
Hey.
Hold up, let's spin it back. You're locked into K.L.P Rewind, the segment where we break it down, review it, and run it back.
All right, so we're running this one back because I talked about this on Monday's Wake Up ATL with Blondie and Sarah. Can't wait for it. I'm very, very excited for it as something crawls up my nose. I don't know what that was. But anyway, ladies and gentlemen, we raw. You know, I like to shoot it raw with y'all. Splinter Cell, Death Watch. Now, I wanted to do a more in-depth review. Of course, I said on Monday, last night's episode, or yesterday's morning's episode, IGN gives the show an 8 out of 10. IMDb gives it a 6.7 out of 10. Rotten Tomatoes gives it an 85%. And I give it an air horn and an applause simply because this show is really, really good. I think you made a good show when you're able to have Rotten Tomatoes as an 85%. And Rotten Tomatoes, they're tough. IGN gives it an 8 out of 10, right? You've got something if you get a B, right? And I know a lot of these shows and video games and movies, you want to strive for an A, ladies and gentlemen. But let me tell you something. This is the show that I get very, very excited for. I truly think Netflix is going to renew this show for season 2. Let me tell y'all about it. Of course, this Splinter Cell Death Watch is an adult animated espionage action series that debuted on October 14th, 2025 on Netflix, featuring the legendary character of Sam Fisher. Of course, the story revolves around Sam Fisher helping a new recruit to uncover a global conspiracy while navigating the shadowy world of espionage. Early reviews highlight excellence, action scenes, choreography scenes, and clever gun fights make a notable addition to the franchise. And let me tell you, this is the show that I'm really, really glad that they did really, really well because, like I said on yesterday morning's Wake Up with ATL with Blondie and Sarah. Go check that episode out. I really, really enjoy this anime style. Now, granted, when I first read that Ubisoft is developing this show for Netflix, I was a little skeptical. Right? It's Ubisoft. So you gotta take Ubisoft with a grain of salt with some of their products, right? But then when I saw the trailer, I said, oh, this is gonna be good. Hopefully it's not too PG, but it's gonna be good. Now me watching it on Netflix, this is an adult anime, right? Adult kind of anime. I mean, when I say adult, teenagers can watch it. It might be too much for little kids, right? Because there's a lot of good blood and gore and a lot of cussing in this show, which may not be suitable for young kids. But then again, 5-year-olds have iPhones, so nothing surprises me nowadays. But obviously, if you're a young teenager to an adult, you're going to enjoy this. I enjoy this as the anime style. I've always been a Splinter Cell fan. I played almost every Splinter Cell game. I think I played the first ever Splinter Cell when it came to 3DS. I played Conviction. I played Blacklist. I think Blacklist wasn't that bad. And I played, I guess, the expansion of Breakpoint. They had some sort of expansion with Sam Fisher. I'm always going to say to Ubisoft, though, if you got time and money to put into an animation, and I'm joking, because with this animation, it cost them millions to make this, but it doesn't cost them a whole lot to make this animation show series versus a video game. Video game takes millions more money, right, to develop a game. But if you got time to develop an anime series, I think it's time that we get a new Splinter Cell game. They could be working on it now as we speak, and they just haven't said anything. I think it's time. Here's why I think this is going to be the point where they are developing a new Splinter Cell game, because you've got a hit animated series show, right? They might announce a new Splinter Cell game when season 2 comes. Maybe. I'm speculating. I don't know. I don't work for Ubisoft. If they were able to do it for Ubisoft, I think that would be a great idea. Then again, I don't know. I don't work for Ubisoft, so I don't know. I really enjoyed this anime style. I like the new character, the new recruit that they have into the show. I like, even though Blacklist was good, right? You've got Sam Fisher a little bit younger in Blacklist, Splinter Cell Blacklist, right? Now you see a much older version of Sam Fisher in the series. He's grayed out, right? I'm glad that at the beginning of the show, he had a ponytail, and I get it because that's the story they're trying to tell. Like, this is a very old Sam Fisher who worked with Anna Grimm's daughter with Fourth Echelon, but he's semi-retired. He's graying out. He's growing his hair out. He's a rebel. You know, I get it. But I do like it that towards the series that they cut his hair to his normal shaped haircut with the beard and the mustache, and much older version of Sam Fisher. I really like that they brought the goggles with the sound effects, because that, when you hear the choo, that is a stable. I don't know if I did that right, T, but that is a stable sound effect for Splinter Cell, right? And this is what people are saying. 2 days ago, another reviewer said it was pretty good. It had excellent action. The fight scenes were super well choreographed and animated. I agree. The anime style is very, very good in this show. They've done some things where they've done some moves and some trickery and some shadows. I really like it where they did this a lot too, where a character, it's like the camera, you're seeing a wall and the shadow of the character moving around, but you don't see the character until he comes across the camera, right? In the animated style. They did that a lot, but I think it fits really, really well. The sound design was incredible. It was a standout aspect, but the Splinter Cell content, this is what the review said. Yeah, it could have been any generic spy thriller. Yeah, I get it. I think, excuse me. I think this is they're just warming up. I feel like they're just warming up because it is season 2, right? You can't do so much in your first season. Let me tell you why. And this is from a filmmaker and an animator and a show creator. You don't want to give the store you don't want to give all the store away for free at the first get-go, right? They if you write a lot in season 1, you told the big story in season 1, you may not have a whole lot left to tell in season 2 and season 3, right? There's a lot of shows they mess up with that because they want to give, and I get it because it's Netflix and it's reviewing and it's, you got to make sure that your show hits really well season 1, and I get it, but you don't want to give a whole lot away because in season 1, a lot of shows do that. They give us a spectacular show. Season 1 was incredible. They told all the story they wanted to tell, but then when season 2 comes around, season 2 is not the greatest, right? It's meh because they gave their story away as season 1. So now they've got to write some out of their ass writing for season 2 because they got renewed for season 2, right? A lot of shows do that where they mess up on that. So I feel Splinter Cell Splinter Cell Death Watch left it on the cliffhanger. And even though some people might say it was a generic spy thriller for season 1, they probably didn't give us all the full writing story in season 1 because maybe they know, hey, season 2 might be renewed. Let's save some of this for season 2. Now you got to show for season 2, right? So I kind of get why they do that. I do love the character McKenna. McKenna is very, very awesome. She's, I want to say, British, has a British accent or like a French accent, British accent. I really like her character. Again, they're catering to the market, right? Because you got Sam Fisher as one of the male protagonists. Of course, you got to have a female in the show to be your star, right? Because that's just how the world is. You got to be accepting for both genders, and I'm here for it. She's going through a lot of things with her character. She's had a partner who got murdered, got beat the snot out of and dead. And now she's trying to uncover this conspiracy, but she needs help from Sam Fisher, of course. Now, Sam Fisher has it to where now he's kind of in a way like the father figure of McKenna, kind of, because Sam Fisher does have a daughter, Sarah Fisher. I do hope that we get to see Sarah Fisher in season 2. Like I said on Wake Up ATL yesterday morning, I do hope that we see more classic characters from the Splinter Cell franchise, because if we're able to do that, now also introduce new people, yes, but I think for fan service and nostalgia reasons, for us being Splinter Cell fans, I want to see more of the Splinter Cell characters that didn't get killed in the video games or other shows. Bring them in the show some way, somehow. I feel. I do like that this show, like I say, I do like it that it's not PG. I can't say it's PG 14, 15, maybe. Not PG, not G. I love it because sometimes some of these shows, these video game shows, they sometimes they kind of water them down for PG and G because a lot of kids play their video games, so now they've got to downgrade their style a little bit. I'm glad that they didn't do that within this game or within this movie show. Right? I do see it being a movie. Like I say, hopefully Splinter Cell Death Watch becomes a video game. I think that's a great idea. I really, really do. If you want to capitalize on Splinter Cell Death Watch franchise, let that be Splinter Cell's next game. Right? Even if you want to stick to the animated style of it, sure. I think there's a lot of things they can do. And I say with Unreal Engine 5, but a lot of people don't like Unreal Engine 5. I like it because I've made 2 movies out of using that engine, so I kind of like it. But there's the sky's the limit of what they can do. And like I said on yesterday morning's Wake Up with ATL, I see a lot of video game franchises doing this, right? Of course, we got the Cyberpunk show that's on Netflix. I do see Metal Gear Solid might be coming up next with their animated show or live action show. Keep it animated for Snake, because now you got competition between Snake and Sam Fisher, right? Like I say, this show is good. Again, they've got an 85% on Rotten Tomatoes and an 8 out of 10 on IGN. They're gonna get renewed for season 2. I can see it coming, and I can't wait to see what season 2 brings. It's a very, very, very good one. So again, check them out. It's really, really amazing. All right, so our top story here today.
Some of y'all might know this, and some of y'all don't.
Let's do it.
K.L.P has all the topics, stories, and gossip. It is now time for our top story from K.L.P.
All right, so my top story today And I'm very, very excited to talk about this top story because it has something to do with sports. Now, even though I haven't been solely on Bro Code Podcast because I'm letting the fellas do it, that doesn't mean I can't not talk about sports on this show, right? So I've started to watch, and this two things can go hand in hand. The first thing, I guess we can kind of skip around here. I've watched Starting Five. Let me tell you something about Starting Five. It's good. I like it. Starting Five, also available on Netflix. Of course, first episode was around this time last year, October 9th, 2024. Of course, I've started to watch the season 2, right? Very, very excited for season 2 because Starting Five is a basketball docuseries show where you're following these top athletes within their season. And I saw a little bit of season 1. I need to revisit season 1, but I saw season 2 because there are two players that, well, technically 3 players that I like from season 2. Obviously, Tyrese Halliburton is in season 2. I'm a big fan of Tyrese Halliburton. Halliburton, I'm still pissed that you tore your Achilles and you lost the finals, right? I'm still mad about that because I had money on the Pacers, but I also saw Shea Gilgeous-Alexander. He plays for the Thunders, of course. So you got Tyrese Halliburton, Shea Gilgeous-Alexander, Jaylen Brown, Kevin Durant, and who else? I'm missing a 5th person here. Who am I missing? Who am I missing? Oh, and James Harden. Those are 5. James Harden, I've been a fan of James Harden for a while too. I really like this docuseries that they're doing because Starting Five, it just allows you to kind of see the NBA players' world. Netflix, I think you need to do a WNBA Starting Five. I think that would be very incredible. They should do that. They really should do it. If you want the Starting Five franchise to land and to stick, do more seasons for NBA, yes, but give us WNBA Starting Five. I want to see what the ladies do, not in a weird way, but I want to see their behind the scenes, right? I really love this docuseries. Again, it's a docuseries that's following the 5 superstars players, NBA players, throughout their daily lives of practice, training, winning their games, and their personal lives, right? Very, very excited for that. Of course, I saw Tyrese Halliburton's story where he is going through it. He wasn't performing well at the beginning, but he became better with the Pacers. Very, very dope to see that. And he's really doing some really great things when it comes down to basketball. Shea Gilgeous-Alexander, MVP winner, cover of NBA 2K26. Big fan of him, right? He's dope. He got some weird feet, and I don't mean that in a weird way. There was a scene where he was on his couch, and they did it. His feet was in the shot. I'm like, whoa, your feet look they look like this. And I'm like, is your feet okay? Like, I've never seen that. But very, very excited. James Harden doing his thing, playing ball, supporting his mom. Kevin Durant, and that's who I'm getting ready to talk about on the top story is Kevin Durant. But it's a very, very good show. I really recommend people watching it. Again, it's like you get to get closer to the players and really get to see what they do. As you get ready, of course, we're entering this new season of WNBA. Obviously, I'm still watching football and doing some. I'm letting the fellas take care of their top stories. But basketball is very, very exciting because NBA is kicking up very, very good for basketball. Can't wait to see what this season is going. And I can't wait to see Starting Five, Season 3, who's going to be the next 5 up. Basketball is very exciting, too, because obviously Georgia Gwinnett College, GGC, shout out to them. Gotta get the air horn for them. Their basketball season is starting this Thursday. And yes, I will be in the building, help producing the first ever inaugural season for men's and women's basketball at GGC. I'm going to be one of the producers for the broadcast side of things in the house show. Can't wait to see all of that. Can't wait to see the ladies and gentlemen that work for GDN and to see the anticipation because it's go time, right? This basketball for GGC has been the one thing that I've been very, very impactful for, and I can't wait to see it because it's basketball season now. So very, very excited for that. Now, entering his 19th season, Kevin Durant has won MVP, 2 NBA championships and 2 finals MVP awards to go, and to go with the 4 Olympic gold medals and 15 trips to the NBA All-Star season. Yet at this stage of his career, Durant is doggling pursuits a goal he'll never achieve, of course. Kevin Durant asks, what you mean I will never will, with a half smile. Now, since Kevin Durant, and I'm just reading notes here, Kevin Durant won his 2nd ring with the Golden State Warriors in 2018, he has had stints with the Brooklyn Nets and the Phoenix Suns. They came to unceremonious exits. Of course, 6 seasons later, Kevin Durant finds himself in what might be his best and final chance at winning a 3rd ring. Of course, 50 days after the Rockets walked off their home floor, ejected in the wake of Game 7 loss to the Warriors in the first round of the 2024-2025 playoffs. News broke that Houston and Suns had agreed to a trade deal involving 7 teams that will send Kevin Durant to the Rockets for Jalen Green, Dylan Brooks, and the number 10 pick in the draft and 5 second-round picks. This was the head coach, Ime Udoka, the Rockets, says Kevin has always been a problem. He elevates our whole group. Durant, for his part, sees Houston as his best chance to capturing a 3rd ring, but more than that, he likes that this staff lets me be me. That's a quote for Kevin Durant. So it is truth to be said that he is now going to the Houston Rockets for his 19th season. I wonder, will he, and look, Kevin Durant's been playing ball for some years now. So I think now he's getting a little bit up there in age. I think he's made the money that he's needed to make. I think he became very, very successful by doing his thing, right? Of course, playing with Texas Longhorns, down to the Warriors, down to Phoenix Suns, and now back home to and Brooklyn Nets, now back to the Houston Rockets for his final time. The man can play. I gotta say, Kevin Durant is one of those. He's one of the GOATs, right? There's a lot of GOATs that goes around with it, but I think Kevin Durant's one of those GOATs, right? He's joining that lead. He's joining that moment. So I can't wait to see what he does within his 19th season. I do think he's getting a little bit up there in age, not trying to call him old or anything like that, but he is getting up there a little bit. It's just in age, right? Because things are changing, when you get older. It's the same thing with Jalen Green, because Jalen Green's on season 2 of Starting 5. And it's just one of those things where as you get older, things start to hurt a little bit more, right? Things start to hurt a whole heck of a lot more when it comes down to it. So I hope that Kevin Durant does pursue that 3rd ring. But I think he's done all the things that he could do when it comes down to being one of the GOATs. And I think he's one of the GOATs. I really, really do. Now, the last thing I wanted to talk about here on the show here, this is the thing that went viral. And this is kind of like a PSA to a lot of people to never spread hate. Right now, a woman gets fired from her job. Oh, and actually, hold on. Before we do that, she's going to be the elephant in the room, by the way.
Some of y'all might know this, and some of y'all don't.
Let's do it. It is now time for the elephant in the room. K.L.P. Who's the biggest elephant today?
So the biggest elephant in the room goes down to this lady, a woman that gets fired from her job after saying she would call ICE on the Dodgers fan who has trolling her at the Dodgers game. Ladies and gentlemen of the jury, I hope we get to the point where we can stop spreading hate, whether it's racial, mental, intellectual, physical hate. I'm sure this fan at the Dodgers game trolling people for fun. He didn't touch nobody. He didn't threaten nobody. He's an anti-Dodgers fan, right? It's the love of the game. Any sporting event I go to, especially if it's WWE, for an example, if I'm cheering for AJ Styles and booing John Cena, I'm going to do a little shit talk. It's all in fun. It's nothing racial about it. I'm not harming nobody physically, mentally, and emotionally. It's just talking trash for the love of the sport. A lot of people go to these sporting events and talk trash to other opposing team fans for fun. Not to pick on them. He didn't touch this woman. He didn't threaten this woman. But it makes me sick that people, and with this, the world that's going on with ICE, right? That whole ordeal is going on. We won't get solely political, but I just felt it in my heart to talk about it. Now, this is what.
What is it? Oh, why is everybody quiet? What is this? I'm sorry. Call ICE. Call ICE. I'm a U.S. citizen. War veteran, baby girl. War veteran. 2 wars. ICE is not going to do nothing to me. Good luck. Good luck. Good luck.
She's really steamed.
Call him.
She's really
Call him.
mad. Why is she mad?
Idiot. Why is everybody
One more time.
What is it? Oh, why is everybody quiet?
And she's talking trash and started
I'm
cussing.
sorry. Call ICE. Call ICE. I'm a U.S. citizen. War veteran, baby girl. War veteran. 2 wars.
So, and another thing that pissed me off, and I bet she felt like she was a dumbass. Obviously, from what he sounds like, he sounds Mexican, right? He said, call ICE, call ICE. He's a veteran. So you mean to tell me you cussing out a veteran who served our country? He said in the video, he said he did 2 tours, right? He decided to sign up for, I don't know, it didn't specify if he was in the Navy or the Army, so I'm just going to say Army or military. It didn't specify which corps he served, but he's a veteran. He did 2 tours serving our country to fight for our freedom. And she's going to say, I'm going to call ICE. And when he said that, call ICE, hey, I'm a veteran, by the way. 2 tours. I served our country. Oh, she was quiet. She ain't had much to say after that. She ain't had no cussing or nothing else to say after that. She was quiet. We have to stop spreading hate. We have to. Especially towards our veterans. I gotta say it. When I see a veteran, I say salute to you for serving our country, because I could never do it because I'm not strong enough. When you go off to the military and army, you got to be strong enough to do that. So that's why I salute my veterans. When I'm at a game and they're playing the Pledge of Allegiance and the national anthem, I'm thinking about all the soldiers who fought and who are still fighting for our freedom, for our country. Not trying to get political on the show, but to me, that's important. I know America, we're going through some crazy shit right now. I get it. I understand it. I get it. But when that national anthem plays, I do think about our troops, our veterans, our military, our Navy, our Marines, Air Force. I think about them. Because I see the TV shows, right? And they glorify for TV. But they really go through some tough shit. They do. Training is tough. It's not easy. Not everybody can do it. That's why I got to spread love to my veterans. Right? Doesn't matter if you white, purple, blue, black, brown. Doesn't matter if you white, black, American, African American, Indian American, Asian American. If you are serving our great country, I salute to you. Regardless of your skin color and your ethnic background. It sucks that we're in this society that the hate still happens. And it's happened a lot to our veterans. People who put their lives on the line for us. Then you got the people who don't serve. They're very ingrateful. Ingrates. So in the video, she said, or from World Star, she said she lost her job. Good. you got to be careful too what you say. You can't say any bigotry or racist act and think you ain't gonna have no repercussions about it. She got fired from her job. Good. Because there's no room for racial hate and profiling. It's like she did a racial hate. She assaulted the veteran because at the end she slapped her phone down. So that's assault, battery and assault. And you spread hate on top of that. Baby girl, you think you weren't gonna get you were gonna get clear from that? All at the Dodgers game. A fan that's just having fun. Like you can't even go to a sporting event without somebody getting so offended. Trolling somebody. Again, he didn't touch her. He didn't punch her. He didn't cuss her out. He's just having a little fun. But other people get so offended. It's it's just a game too, right? I get it. Baseball's all sports are very because we root for the teams we root for. I get it, right? Especially if you have Final Fantasy. Especially if you have FanDuel or Prize Pick, you doing fantasy and you lose money or you win some money. I get it. But it's just the game. It's not serious. Life goes on afterwards. Right? I don't get it. Like I say, the moral of the story, ladies and gentlemen, let's stop spreading the hate, please. Especially at sporting events. It's a sporting event. It's not serious. It's not real. It's not going to be life or death if your team loses at a game. It's going to be okay. Life continues on, right? I can't stand it, ladies and gentlemen. I can't stand it. Well, that's going to wrap it up here on our podcast here today. Hopefully you guys enjoyed this one as much as I did. Stay tuned because we got more podcasting this week. What happened was new episode is coming Friday. I can't wait for that episode. Me and E back into the studio to give you guys yet another exciting podcast for sure. Ladies and gentlemen, we hope that you guys have a fantastic rest of your Tuesday, and we'll see you guys on the next episode of K.L.P Aftermath Podcast. Until then, I say so long, stay safe, stay swanky. Yeah.